Good morning, monsters, and welcome to this week's episode of Monsters on the Edge here on the Untold Radio Network. I am your host, Barnaby Jones, from Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. As you just saw, it is a brand new year. We didn't have a live show. We didn't have any show last week, but this is the first show of the new year and our brand new introduction video and theme song by Mr. Doug Hychek. Thank you for that. That is our new theme song and going forward. So hope that you guys enjoy it. Unfortunately, you're going to hear it each and every week now. So there you go. But we are live in studio today. We are back. Thank you all for tuning in. Swoop the Dope says, I see monsters, I watch. Or I see dinosaurs, I watch. I can't read. There you go. Kim Kincaid. Hey, monsters. Welcome to the show. We are live. If you guys have questions or comments throughout the show, throw them in the comments section and we will get to them as soon as we can. Brand new year, all kinds of new events here for CAPS. First off, we are headed to Obscura Paracon. This is kicking off our season here for CAPS. It is going to be March 21st through the 22nd in DeKalb, Illinois. It's going to be a great event with myself and a bunch of other great people there. Make sure you check that out. Check out obscuraparacon.com for more details. Then we head to Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through the 3rd, 2026 in Delavan, Wisconsin. Myself, a lot of other great people, and Dean Bertram, also from the Untold Radio Network, will be here as well. And then we have the Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention, Saturday, May 9th in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Over 20 guest speakers and workshops, as well as 40 vendors for your shopping pleasure. All kicks off Friday with a kid-oriented Bigfoot Expedition daylight hike led by myself, Chris McCurry, Lauren Smith, and Kelly Milner Halls. to answer all of your kids' burning questions about Bigfoot and how to stay safe out into the woods while exploring. And then for the more adventurous people, we have the night expedition as well. Myself, Chris, Lauren, all joining that as well, along with Jay Bachochin, Ken Gerhard, and Larry Eisler will be making his first foray into the world of Bigfoot. So he's super excited about that. And then, guys, we head down to Chicago for the Chicago Paranormal Convention, Saturday, June 13th in Countryside, Illinois. Then I will be at the Rio Public Library in October talking about the hairy man of Dairyland, Wisconsin's Bigfoot. And the Belleville Public Library in October on the 30th talking about UFOs and UAP disclosure. So awesome year coming up here. And lots of great events for you to check out. All the information, if you missed any of that, is at wisconsincaps.com. Click on the public events tab and you can get all the information. Hello, Octopus with No Friends. Welcome to the show. We are live and we have an amazing guest in the shadows backstage here, just waiting to chat with all of you. So let's get to him. After a couple years as a graphic designer, Rick Spears was able to take his love of prehistoric animals and combine it with sculpting skills and found work as an exhibit designer for a small natural history museum. This led to illustrating books about dinosaurs, which then led him to illustrating books about cryptids. 10 titles in all, each written by Kelly Milner Halls. Since retiring from his day job, he still makes models for museums in between illustrating projects. He is here with us to talk all things cryptids, dinosaurs, and the unknown. Please welcome Rick Spears to the show. Rick, welcome, man. How you doing?
Hey, thank you so much. Listen, enough about me. I want to hear that intro song again. That was awesome. That was fantastic.
I know. It's very Nickelback sounding, right? I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, but it's starting to grow on me.
That with the visuals, it was, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, my favorite is the witness saw his toothy grin.
Yeah.
Dog man. Oh yeah, that was my favorite. So there you go. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, man. Tell us, you have a whole litany of stuff that you've got going on here, from modeling and art and the whole museum stuff. I was reading some of your website and how you got interested in the whole, you basically got to open and design a brand new whole museum, right?
Yeah. Lucked up on that one. Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. It just, well, actually, I've got a degree in graphic design and I worked in advertising for a little bit and I got tired of lying to people. So actually they fired me because I wouldn't lie to people. But lucked up and found that there was a natural history museum opening here in Georgia at our 4-H center, as a matter of fact. And I just said, hey, I make models, if I could do some models for you. And they said, sure. And they looked at them and they go, well, what would it take for you to work here all the time? I said, not much. So anyway, I started as their exhibit designer and I didn't know what I was doing, but they didn't know either. So we just kind of faked it. And from then on, here we are, like 35 years since. And I'm an official exhibit designer, model maker, retired.
Nice. Now I was noticing on the website, you have some large models as well, like full size sculptures and stuff. Did you design all those and sculpt them too?
Yeah. I had a chance to build a life-size T-Rex for a mall in Michigan. And it was all kids. It was kind of cool. It was a kids themed mall and all the stores were kid related and stuff. But in their big atrium, they wanted a T-Rex. So they asked if I could build it. I said, sure. And I hung up the phone. I don't know how to do this. Again, I faked my way through it. And it was there for a while. And then unfortunately the mall closed. But the head of the T-Rex still exists in a museum right now. But yeah, it was quite an undertaking. I haven't built anything that large since, but it was a good learning experience.
That's cool. Have you done any kind of like the animatronic stuff, or is it all just static displays?
It's been static so far. Yeah. I'm not, I mean, I can make things move a little bit, but the electronics, it's beyond me. Maybe if you pull a lever and something works, but
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
electricity, no.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's delve into this. So you've brought a whole bunch of pictures and graphics and stuff to share with us today, and you said that they're in chronological order.
Yeah.
When you made them, okay.
Somewhat chronological order, just so you can see the progression of my cryptid work. Like I said, I've worked in museums building dinosaur models or prehistoric animals, but then the cryptid thing kind of came in sideways, and so it's kind of like my work as far as doing cryptid art. So I think, I don't know, I can't, the first thing I got to work on was Tales of the Cryptids, which has been around for quite a while, I think since 2006. But that was a blast. Somebody, Kelly Milner Halls, who I've worked with on all my books, she wanted to do a cryptid book. And so I said, hells yeah. And actually, I got a writing credit there. All Spears and Young. Truth be known, I only wrote the title, but still I got the credit, which is nice. But I did illustrate the whole book, and that was a lot of fun. I don't know what we have next.
You say?
Okay. There's like 4 main chapters dealing with Sasquatch and sea monsters. And this was the Ultima Haha, which is, I call Alti because I don't like Ultima Haha. It sounds like you're degrading it, but it's a sea monster from Georgia, which supposedly lives off the coast of Georgia. And you have these encounters in the book. You have these encounters with these cryptids. And I tried to relate to something that everybody could relate to. I tried to depict that. You've always been swimming in a lake or something, and your feet brush against something that you can't see. So that's where this image came from. Now, where that big blank area, it actually had type over it in the book. This is the plain artwork. But anyway, just trying to make it relatable to the viewer.
Very cool. Now, let's pause here for a little bit, because talk about these sea monsters. One of the things that, we've talked about on the show a lot about, with prehistoric creatures that still may possibly exist today is the plausibility of this, like when people talk about the Loch Ness monster and stuff, and how our understanding of these creatures from then till now has changed. We know like that the plesiosaurs' necks wouldn't rise up like a snake out of the water. They don't have the bone structure for it. And I notice in this picture here, it looks like the little guy's got whiskers.
Yeah, he probably has too many whiskers because for that image, but I wanted to show that he would be more like mammalian.
Yeah.
And I've one theory is that Alti is based off an ancient pinniped, which actually existed, called Alidesmus or Demsis. I always get the name mixed up. It was a very big sea lion, and they found bones of it out in California and such. But you kind of think, well, maybe over time they lose their hind flippers, and it kind of like fuses into one long one. But it's very seal-like, and that's what I tried to depict with this, especially with the sea lion ears and
those two
little whiskers. I've done since then. I kind of taken the whiskers away, but I just really wanted to emphasize that is possibly mammalian. All the eyewitness accounts I read when I was working on the image of Alti, when it would surface, it would take a breath, it would blow steam, so it's warm-blooded, and the way it swam, it undulated up and down, which is like how mammals swim, whales and such, not side to side like would a reptile or a fish. So that's why I depict it as a mammal type cryptid.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what I was looking for on
Cool.
him, because he does definitely look very, or she. I don't want to, assume anything here, but it very much does look like you said, a pinniped or a seal or a sea
Yeah.
lion kind of
Yeah.
look.
A little bit later, I have some more images of Alti that you
Yep,
kind of see how it came about.
very cool. All right. Well, I look forward to more of that then. But
Right.
I did want to point out
Yeah.
the fact of the whiskers and stuff there. So
Good
awesome.
eye. Good eye.
Absolutely. All right, moving on here. What else we got?
And this is the chapter for the Sasquatch. Um, Again, trying to make it more relatable to the reader. So everybody's been like walking with a flashlight at night, and this is like you would hear something behind you and turn around, and this is not a big scary Sasquatch. He's startled by you, so it's kind of like a role reversal there. It's like he's kind of scared of you.
Have you gotten to do any like witness sketches?
No, and I would love to. I would love to play, eyewitness sketch artist for that. That would be a lot of fun.
Cool.
But yeah, okay. So later on, got the next book I got to work on was In Search of Sasquatch by Kelly, and I really wasn't supposed to work on it, but that's fine.
Okay.
But I kind of got some of my illustrations in there, and it's typical Sasquatch behavior. Alien investigation was next, and excuse me. This was actually at first was going to be alien encounters, I think. I don't know, but this is the cover that the publisher came up with. But then I did a different cover. Let's see if we got it next. Oh no, this is the interior. This is my favorite image from the book. It had a story within a story. So each chapter was a story about these aliens, and they're coming to Earth to investigate the alien investigation. So it's like, are they investigating us, or are we investigating them? But anyway, in the story, they're out at night taking samples. I don't know what they're doing, but then they encounter this kid, and this is my favorite thing. Is like the one alien saying, no, don't go, and the captain's going, yeah, I got this, it's okay. I just really like the interaction in that one.
Very cool.
But they become friends.
Oh, is this based on a true account, or was this?
No.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, there was a different, whole different scenario I had come up with that would have been like very dramatic. But I mean, this still worked out great for the kids' book.
Cool.
And then there was the typical, different types of aliens, and the Nordic type there on the right, and then the reptilians, and then the grays. So it also had a chart with different ship shapes and ship types too. So that was a lot of fun to work on.
Very cool.
I think the next is the alternate cover. Yeah,
that's
the one I wanted. So, but you're working with publishers, you gotta go their way.
I don't want to disparage your cover. I really like the original one, though, or the other one that did get published. That's one of my favorite covers from her. So
it's all right.
This one's cool. It's kind of creepy. I don't know. I've never been a big alien guy, so kind of gives me the oof. I don't know.
Well, it was, honestly, it was just a dummy one. It was done real quick as a prototype. So the finished art would make it not look just creepy. Now that you mention it, it is pretty creepy. We will take over. Like that.
He actually kind of looks like he's scared too. Like, oh no, that place again.
Yeah.
When you drive past a bad part of town and he looks out the window and goes,
roll up the windows, kids.
Yeah, roll up the windows. That's kind of what he looks like right now.
Okay. And then we got to work on Cryptid Creatures, which was with the Tales of the Cryptids, the earlier one. In the back, we had something called a cryptid dictionary, which would say, all right, what's a chupacabra, and it just had a nice description of it, and then a little sketch next to it. And so they wanted to expand on that, so we actually did this field guide, and to make it even more expanded, we had a depiction of the creature, of the cryptid, and then it as a baby, and then a theoretic skull of what the skull looked like. So that was a lot of fun to do. So we had 50 entries, and so it ended up being like 150 drawings. But it was a lot of fun to work on.
That is cool. That is cool.
And I don't know what's next. I should really have a list here. Yeah, okay. So you can see
quite a few of these now. Yes.
Yeah, you can kind of work through these. These are kind of like what they were. Only these have been colorized. So we had like Alti. Alti's like my favorite. So you end up seeing a lot of Alti. But the next one is, Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I liked him like digging into the cooler. You probably wouldn't be so neat about it. I could see it like strewn out everywhere. But
nice sandwich.
Yeah,
there he is. That's my buddy.
Chupacabras, the goat sucker.
I appreciate that he is not a Texas blue dog. That's what I appreciate about that drawing. So
yeah, he doesn't have the mange.
That's right. There you
go. And then coelacanth at one time, we have fossil records of it, and then it was gone. So if you saw it, oh well, it's a cryptid. It's like, no, it's not, because it became true. So it's like one of the cryptids that became established by science, like the mountain gorilla. At one time, it was a cryptid.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the cryptid success story, the poster child for cryptozoology. Yep. Absolutely.
And I don't know about relict dinosaurs, but I'm working on this book. I'd never heard of Kasai Rex, so that was kind of neat to do.
You know where it's from? I would assume like Texas.
I think it's Africa.
Well, that would have been the other choice, yeah. There seems to be a lot of supposed living dinosaurs still down in Texas.
Mokozema Bembe, and then there's tons of different things with a horn here or in the back or something. Is like, yeah. But that'd be good. If there was going to be something there, that'd be a good place for it.
Cool. Very arid climates.
Yes. And I like this one just because it reminds me of the creature from Black Lagoon. It's very hard to not draw the creature from Black Lagoon, but the description of it sounds amazingly like it. So
I like his little catfish feelers.
Yeah. It's from where he's bumping into stuff underwater.
There we go.
And then the thylacine. Man, I wish we could bring these back, or they'd find one. That'd be nice. But, it's become a cryptid. It's one of these things, like you said, is like the evolution. It was real, and now it's become cryptid, and now we'd like for it to become non-cryptid and be a real animal again.
Hopefully. There are so many sightings from Australia and that area that supposedly still are there. I know of one researcher that supposedly is watching a family of them right now.
Oh, wow.
And they don't want to put out the information on them because they don't want the general public stalking them or harassing them and stuff. But there's supposedly a family that's being researched right now. So
nice.
We'll see.
Very nice. Cool.
Oh, and then you got the little guys.
The little babies. Now, because these were so popular in the cryptid field guide, when we did the sequel, Sea Monsters, it was the same format. It was the adult animal, and then a juvenile version, and then its theoretic skull. But this actually led to doing a book for toddlers called Cryptid Babies, and it's along the same lines. But it's just a little fun rhyme, and then one baby cryptid doing something baby cryptid-ish. So that was like the latest one that came out around Christmas time. This is a coloring sheet for the kids.
Very cool. There they are.
Yeah, well, this is the alternate cover I came up with. I'm not a fan of putting interior artwork on the front of the book, especially when you only have 16 images, like the baby book. You're kind of like spoiling it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But so I came up with this, which I know you've seen, that famous thing of Bigfoot on the back of Loch Ness Monster, that fun little thing. So this was kind of a takeoff on that, but it ended up going with a different cover, which kind of matched cryptid creatures and sea monsters. So you kind of got a trilogy there. They all have the same look to them.
Very cool.
Oh, there is. Well, no, that's
Sea
Sea
Monster one. Yes.
That's the one that just came out right before babies. So it looks like cryptid creatures. So I'd hope people don't get confused when they go into a store and thinking, well, I've already bought this. It's like, no, it's different. But again, it was this time it's all aquatic animals.
Very cool.
They got the cryptid guide treatment.
Awesome. And this is your drawing book, is that correct?
My drawing book? Oh, yes. Yeah, I did the drawings for it. What are you talking about? Yeah. It'll be backwards here, but this is the one for you lucky live listeners.
That's right.
Just send me an email with your name, and this evening at midnight, I will draw from the entries, and I will send it to you. I will autograph it and send it to you, free of charge, plus tax. Not really.
Plus tax. Just plain $9.99 shipping and handling. Yeah.
Yes, shipping and handling to get you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So all of you people listening live or after this airs for the rest of today, which is Monday, January 12th. I have to figure this out now.
Yeah.
Monday, January 12th. You have until midnight Central Standard Time to send an email to rickspearsart@gmail.com. It's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. It is in the comments section. Send him your name, and in the subject line, put Cryptid Sea Monsters Drawing. And any contestants that send an email by midnight tonight, you are entered, and you will pick one and contact you for your address and all that stuff. Not a contestant, not a contest, not a contest, not a contest. No, just a drawing, like the books. There you go, Lee. But awesome. And if you want to buy one, Kelly will be in Wisconsin for my event as well. And you can pick up one for her if you do not win. So there's your little thing there. But awesome. All right. So enter to win. And I'll leave that scrolling at the bottom of the screen for anybody. We'll remind you later in the show as well. It is in the show notes over there. Not on the show notes, the comment section. There you go. All right. Back to the regular scheduled program. Cryptid Sea Monsters.
Yeah, I don't know what we have next here.
Okay.
Oh, there's
little jackalope.
Yeah, you can see. Okay, they have these 3 cryptids on the cover, and they have another one on the back. So there's only 16 cryptids in there. So a full quarter of your cryptids are on the cover. But you don't get the cool rhymes that come with them. So, but this is a really good. Hold on just a minute. Sorry about that. I gotta say, it's really well made. It's constructed really good, so it'll hold up to any little ones. Yeah, see, there you go.
Oh, nice. It's like a hardcover.
Yeah, it's got books, pages and everything like that. I'm really, really pleased with it. Nice. Yeah, makes a great stocking stuffer next year. It actually came out right before Christmas, but yeah, it's great for little toddlers because they like the bright colors and things.
Absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. Aha.
All right, here we go. We're talking about Alti. And the whole skull thing kind of in the cryptid field guides kind of came from this, because I was looking at it and I thought, all right, this thing, if it's based on a pinniped, I thought, what would a skull look like? So I worked on the skull, and then from that, I did the flesh on the outside. I thought, all right, it's going to look reptilian. It's because where it is, its skin's going to be really rough and almost like a pangolin on the back. So that's why it looks so reptilian, but it's like a reptile stretched over a mammal skeleton. The teeth now, I think I would do a little bit different, more like seal teeth, but it was fun to just take the descriptions and kind of build a real animal from it. I really enjoyed doing that.
Absolutely. So when we talk about these different things, the fact that these things could still exist, we're looking at the cryptids like the thylacine and the
Mhm.
coelacanth and stuff like that. And then you had mentioned that there was a large pinniped that may be related to these, right?
Yes. And I always butchered the name. It's
That's right.
Allodesmus or Allodemsis, but it was from about 35 million years ago, I think. And even looking at the skeleton, you can think, oh my gosh, you could draw Alti over it. You know, imagine extending the neck and then having the tails become the legs almost become vestigial. It would totally work, I think. But I don't think there's any kind of fossil evidence for that evolution. So, but we haven't found an Alti skeleton yet. So, but yeah, it's the thing is with doing cryptids, when I make them, when I draw them or sculpt them, they have some kind of ancestry. They do come from something. I know a lot of cryptid things they deal with the metaphysical or something like that, or another dimension thing. But even if they're from another dimension, they still exist in our space. So they still got to follow the physics of our space. So I always try to make it like, yeah, this could have been a real animal based on this or that. So.
Well, there's so much, with the dinosaurs and the extinct animals and stuff that we're studying. There's so much that obviously we don't know. We're going by a few bones in some cases for these completely, unique species.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the animals that we have now, just in general with the stuff that we're studying, like I always talk about the platypus in my presentations,
Mm-hmm.
because here's this animal that, first of all, when it was discovered, we didn't think it existed. We thought it was a taxidermied, hodgepodge put together. But even nowadays, we're learning more and more about them. Like the fact that we just learned that they glow under fluorescent light, that they're biofluorescent, right?
Cool.
And with all the new things that we're learning, it's really interesting to go and, like you said, that some of these cryptids are supposed to have these supernatural or paranormal abilities. But when we look at the animals that we know today, we're finding a lot of these things in those animals already. That I talk, I do a cryptozoology presentation, and I say, scientists only study what they're paid to look at. So if we're looking at just like, a house cat, right? The only reason that we're studying the eyes of that cat is to figure out if we can use that medicine and that knowledge to help humans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is the way that a lot of science works. It's how does it help us? And if that scientist isn't paid to study the tail of that cat or, the muscle structure of that cat, we're completely ignoring all this stuff about that animal that hasn't been studied because nobody's paid to study it. So we don't know what we haven't discovered.
Where does that purr come from? I don't know.
Supernatural.
That's supernatural.
But so when you're designing things like this and looking at the muscle structure in that, just when you were talking about this one in particular, even, you said that now you would draw the teeth different. So looking back at some of the stuff that you've designed for the museum and the sculptures and stuff like that, how has your interpretation of the muscular body types and stuff of these creatures changed from the skeletal remains from when you first started doing this to now even?
Yeah, I don't have an example of it to show you, but I built a mosasaur, and I put everything I knew about mosasaurs into this thing, and I gave it like a fin down a dorsal fin all the way down its back. I showed an image of it a couple of years later to a real paleontologist, and he goes, "Yeah, well, they really didn't have that because it's actually the trachea that had got twisted around on the back of the fossilized animal. So everybody thought it had a dorsal fin on it, but it doesn't." So it's like, okay, well, I never cut the fin off, but future generations can. But it's just, you can only go by with what you know and what you can find out at the time. So things change and things improve or become more and more accurate as to the evidence that's brought forth. So we're making stuff up, actually, especially with fossils. We can only interpret. I think I can't word the word interpret. You can only interpret them so far based on what we have, and then if you have half a bone and you're using that as a basis for say a leg or something, and then years later they find the other half of that bone has got a completely different hip socket. It's like, well, they couldn't stand upright. You see a lot of these paintings of duck-billed dinosaurs standing upright like a kangaroo, but later on they found out because the way the hips are put together, they couldn't stand that way. So now they're all kind of horizontal. That's just where you go.
Absolutely. I hate to do this, but Lee has made a terrible. Wants to know if the Mosasaurus had a copy of the 10 Commandments.
No, the 10 Commandments had not been written yet.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. That shut down Lee. All right. That was a very bad joke, Lee. Terrible that you got on the show with that. Anyway. All right.
This sore.
Moving on, man. All right, take a look at this guy.
Oh, now there's the first model I ever built of Alti. We had in the museum where I got my first job, we had a space that was just wasted, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to put something kind of cryptid there? And that's when I first found out about the Altamaha. I did a Google search for cryptids of Georgia, and the first thing that popped up, being an A, was the Altamaha. So I built that model, and it just kind of tucks into a dark corner, so you come around the corner and go, oh, what's that there? And then later on, I think maybe I get the next one. I was actually, there it is, above the doorway. But I was commissioned by the people down in Darien, McIntosh County, off the coast of Georgia, on the coast of Georgia, is where Alti is seen. So they commissioned me to do a full-sized 20-foot long one. And that was a lot of fun. So this is only about 10. The other one is, there it is. It's at 20 feet long. And you can go up and you can pose with it. There's a sign there that says, do not place children on Alti, because they want to look like they're riding it. But that was a lot of fun too. And again, there's a lot of mammalian features. It's got it's got a belly button and like a vent, like a porpoise would have. So yeah, it's accurate as far as we know, but it's accurate for a mammalian. If Alti is mammalian, it's accurate for a mammalian creature.
Interesting.
I think we got a beauty shot of her.
I love the iridescent kind of look to it.
That may have been the lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, the way the window, it's right in front of some big store windows, so when the light comes in. But there's her beauty shot. I wish I could take credit for this photo. I don't know who took it, but when I did a search for Alti on the internet, this popped up. But it's like the prettiest shot of her face.
So you hand sculpted this whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's basically blue insulation foam.
Okay.
But I glue it together and sculpt it, and then the outside is an epoxy clay, which is you take it part A and part B, mixed together by hand, and then you can spread it and sculpt and stamp texture into it, draw little lines, and then it hardens up into a plastic. So the whole model probably weighs about 100 pounds. Just from the styrofoam and the clay on it. It's got that much clay on it.
Wow.
And then you paint it with special paint from Walmart called house paint. Actually, no, I take that back. This paint came from Home Depot, and the light color is called fossil, and the darker color is called crocodile, I swear. So they were very apropos.
Nice. I usually stick to like brownie and hot fudge sundae and those colors, So.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Very
Sweet.
Cool.
And I took a stab at doing a Sasquatch. It's actually sending images through a friend to some scientists that were studying Sasquatch at the time. So they were kind of like keeping me accurate. And I only got this far with it. And I mean, because other projects came up. This was just for a fun thing. And then somebody wanted to use it in a book. I think that Sasquatch book. So I ended up the next one putting hair over it in Photoshop. It was Jeff Meldrum was the scientist. That's who it was.
Okay. Yeah.
He was friends with Jeff Meldrum, so he was sending photos, and Jeff Meldrum would comment back and forth. So it was a lot of fun working like that. But even this is from years ago. I think I would even start over on it, just to what we know more about Sasquatch. So especially the hooded nose type thing rather than a gorilla nose, that would probably change.
He has a very big, manly chin.
Yes, well, his angles.
I didn't notice it so much on this one.
Yeah.
But when you add the hair, he's really got the helps it up there. Yeah.
He looks like King Kong from the latest movie. Beard.
Very cool.
And then just some random things that people have used for websites. Not Alti, but Champ. Here we go. It's not Alti. Can you believe it? And then if you just want to run through these, the Dover Demon, which in my theory is a spacesuit. I think it's a spacesuit because, it's featureless, but you can imagine, all the breathing apparatus and stuff inside, but who knows? Mothman.
Very cool.
With this big mothiness wings. And then another rendering of a Sasquatch or Bigfoot. The weirdest thing, though, was when we were doing Tales of the Cryptids, was getting all the descriptions of the cryptid creatures and then doing little sketches from that. And the one that always makes me laugh is somebody describing the Levelland frog, if you're familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
And they go, well, yeah, it looked like a frog on its hind legs about 4 or 5 feet high. And they go, okay. Is there anything else you can tell us? Yeah, it was holding a sparkling wand. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
They had me until sparkling wand.
You get to that part of the whole thing and you go, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It was sparks at each other. Yep. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. I wasn't there.
And I always get this one, the wolf thing, Shunka Warakin. I don't know. It's not a sea monster, so there it is. Shunka Warak. I don't have the name. Anyway, I should really write down. And the skunk ape, a little bit different than our Sasquatch. And the Thunderbird, yeah. So I can do a little bit more. You can see than sea monsters, than Alti. And then the Wolfman, I really love the idea of that. And this, instead of trying to be a totally bipedal thing, you can see it's very wolf at the top, and then but it could still run on its hind legs if it had to. I just included that because I liked it.
There we go. Going back to your duck-billed dinosaur, when you were talking about those, how we discovered the hip placement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Dogman with that?
Well,
to stand up on its hind legs.
Yeah, it's possible. It could. I don't remember if I get these wrong, scientists don't shoot me. But duckbills would walk on all fours, and I think that's called obligate motion or locomotion. Mm-hmm. But if it was startled or something, it could take off and run on its hind legs, which is, I think, called facultative. So the same thing with this. It could be stalking like that, but if it wants to move out, it could go on its hind legs. If it indeed has dog-like hind legs, if they're more human. that's another story. But I just like the way how it wasn't really upright.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of canine researchers and stuff like that just say that most of the dogs don't have the body structure in the hips and joints to be able to transition to an upright. Like they can, like we see like in circuses and stuff, the small dogs that dance on their hind legs, or if there's an injury or something. But the bone structure and the muscle structure of these creatures just doesn't allow for the upright bipedalism of them.
Yeah, they're very, very narrow.
Cool. All right.
Oh, and this is the weirdest one I've been requested to do. A guy many years ago asked if I could do Bigfoot on a seed pack, because they were doing these really big tomatoes and they wanted to kind of tie it into cryptozoology for some reason. And so I did this one. This was the first one, and I never heard from him again. I don't know what happened with these. I would have loved to have had a printed pack, but that was it. So this is all that exists as far as I know.
I feel this one's out of the chronological order that you claimed these were in, if this was many years ago.
You know what? You're right. And you called me. I'm a big liar. I gotta go.
No, right. It's the last one. We'll let it go.
I saved this one because it was the weirdest.
Fair enough. That would be cool. It seems like more and more today, there's more and more things that are represented by cryptids or cryptozoology and Bigfoot and stuff like that. So
I always felt though that he should have saved this for the squash and called it Sasquatch. But no.
Oh, we're going back to those
Moses
all right, we have some questions here for you as we go along here. We are live. If you have some questions about prehistoric critters or cryptid art and stuff, throw them in the comments section. Kaiju Ninja, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts on the Dilophosaurus having a frill and spitting like the cobra in Jurassic Park?
It was cool in the movie, but Dilophosaurus was a lot larger than was depicted. There's no fossil evidence for a frill, and spitting like a cobra. It's possible something could spit, but there's no reason for it to spit. Actually, the frill thing I learned was when they were working on the movie. Somebody said, well, we need them to do something, as a distraction. And somebody had mentioned the pop-up umbrella, because later on in the story, the survivors were going to get up against a Dilophosaurus and actually use an umbrella to fool the Dilophosaurus into, back it down or something like that. But yeah, that's total speculation. Spitting like a cobra. Are there any tooth grooves? I mean, for the venom, I don't think there are.
Is there
I don't like it.
Don't like it. Is there any animals that do spit poison?
Cobras, but their teeth are made to do that. They actually have things that go down and go out forward, so it sprays out. But I don't. There was no reason for it to. They were such big animals. Again, you've got the fake one from Jurassic Park, but the real animal, the real Dilophosaurus, was large enough it wouldn't need to do that. It would just bite you or step on you or something.
Absolutely. I've gone to a lot of those Dynamation, at zoos and stuff, and you always have, like the little bitty velociraptors, but then you have these huge Dilophosaurus, and it's like, that's a lot bigger than it is in the movies. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Again, Kaiju Ninja has a question for you. Have you drawn or sculpted any early humans or humanoids?
I have. If you give me just 2 seconds again. I would have brought one up had I known, but this is the beginning of one. This is the Tong child. a famous find from the 20s. And this is the basis for a sculpture I'm going to do of Tong Chao. But I have done Australopithecus, afarensis, and Australopithecus sediba, which actually that sculpture went to South Africa for their new museum, where they actually found the fossils of that. So yeah, I don't have one here to show you, but here's the beginning one.
Very cool.
I enjoy doing that immensely, by the way.
All right. If you guys have questions, put them in all caps so that I can see them. Excuse me. All right. Octopus with no friends. He does hate pterodactyls. That's not what I was thinking that comment was. Have you drawn any pterodactyls or pteranodons? Have you worked with them?
Yes. And I took one out of the slideshow. There was a pterosaur there because it was so much like a regular dinosaur. I don't know. I don't consider it a cryptid, but yeah. And I've sculpted several. When I did that big T-Rex that I told you about for the kids' mall, there was actually a mother pterosaur coming in, pteranodon, flying down because the T-Rex was about to step on a nest of babies. So there was that. And I sculpted some of the smaller ones. Not really a pterosaur, but I sculpted a microraptor, one of the little flying raptor things that turned out really nice. It's basically black with kind of an iridescent mist to it, so that when you see it from different angles, it turns purple and blue. It was fun. But yeah.
All right, here you go. You knew this question was coming. Do you like the depiction of dinosaurs having feathers, or do you think that they had feathers? What is your opinion? We've heard a lot of different stuff on the show as certain species having feathers, certain being more kind of like an elephant rhino hide, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the smaller dinosaurs, or the smaller theropod dinosaurs, they have evidence for feathers. And there's like either feather imprints, or on the bones they have feather attachment points for like some of the raptor type things. And then you see depictions of T-Rex having feathers, but there's never been any evidence for feathers on a T-Rex. And they've actually found the skin impressions and nothing to do with feathers. So maybe as a chick, a baby T-Rex could have some kind of fuzz or feather or down on it to help keep it warm. But as they get bigger, they would probably lose it. Personally, I hate feathers on dinosaurs because I hate sculpting feathers on dinosaurs. But if that's the way it is, you can't help it. But I think it's a species thing. Or what type of dinosaur it is.
Do you think, excuse me, do you think that that's why a lot of like movies and stuff stay with the trope of the scaly reptile skin because they don't want to go through the extra work of doing the feathers?
Yeah, I think so. Especially like these little quickie asylum movies you see, like Dino versus Tornado or something like that. And I guess they just don't. The models looked okay, but they just haven't gotten around to doing the feather skin on it, which would be easier, I think, in CGI. Just put them on there. You don't have to do every individual one. But I don't. I'm from the old school where dinosaurs didn't have feathers. But if they do, if there's evidence for it, then we just have to go with it.
What are your thoughts on being warm-blooded versus the reptilians that we've always been told? Do you think that some of them are actually warm-blooded, like we talked about the sea lion or the pinnipeds earlier?
Yeah, there's no reason to think that they weren't. They have found dinosaur bones in what would have been colder climes up north. Excuse me. They could have existed in snow. I always heard growing up that the dinosaurs, like the big brontosaurs, got along because they would absorb the heat from the sun, and that kept them going. But I think it's all internal, and especially when you get to the theropod dinosaurs, they're so bird-like. I always tell kids that dinosaurs are birds, and so you can kind of compare theropod dinosaurs to our modern birds.
Well, birds are warm-blooded, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's that called? Endothermic.
Endothermic. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. Well, I've also heard that with being so large, they would have had to have been warm-blooded in order to circulate, the blood throughout the body and stuff. Is there any truth behind that?
Can you imagine like a big body of like a brachiosaurus with like motor oil going through it? No. And those long, they always think how the long neck dinosaurs, how they keep from passing out. But I think we have something called peristalsis that pushes our food down. Why couldn't there be a peristalsis that would push the blood up? Like you'd have not additional hearts, but just things that muscle structures that would help push the blood up as it goes. Or maybe they were just really dizzy all the time.
Well, you think, going back to trying to figure out, lost my whole train of thought. We'll come back to that. What are
Mosasaurus?
Yeah, Mosasaurus. Yeah, and Leah's come now back with your B movie of Dino versus Media. We know how the movie ends. Yeah, that's your low budget movie there. So awesome. Okay. Ropens are my favorite, possibly still existing extinct animal. What do you think about like these things still surviving in small clusters?
I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's unlikely, but just because you think we would have heard more about them, or as much as African continent has been explored. I mean, I know there's places that are not, but I just think we would have heard more about them before now, or even more studied, or more reports. As a matter of fact, I live in Georgia, and we have people that say they've seen pterosaurs here.
Georgia. Interesting.
Yeah.
I went to the other question. I totally tagged this one. Didn't even realize it was that same question. What are your thoughts on pterosaurs being reported, and do you still think that they could still be dinosaurs alive? So
I would love for there to be dinosaur. I mean, we got birds, but like some real textbook dinosaurs alive somewhere in the Congo. That would be awesome.
Where in Georgia have you heard of the sightings?
I live in a place called Walton County, which is outside of Atlanta, about an hour.
Okay. Says Octopus says Georgia is a hot spot for them. I haven't heard much about Georgia for these things. I've heard of like Pennsylvania and Texas and stuff like that, but Arizona and down there, New Mexico.
No, I haven't seen any photos yet. Nobody's been able to get a photo, but there's reports of them here.
So going back to the general topic here of do you think that they're still around in that? When we talk about the feathers versus non-feathers, and we're talking about these pterosaur creatures, everyone seems to be reporting them as these reptilian lizard-looking, sometimes crested, the long spiked tail creatures. But then you also have like the Native American stories of the thunderbirds, these giant eagles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're looking at the possibility of these things existing, what are your thoughts on what would be real? Are the people that are seeing the reptilian dinosaur correct, or would that not have been what they would have looked like, do you think?
From the reports of the like you said, the more pterosaur type things, if you've ever seen one of the long wading birds flying, the way they hold their legs looks a lot like the long tail with the spade on the end, or the spike on the end. and especially gliding, they look very much like you'd expect a pterosaur to look. But I don't know if they're seeing it flapping or the reports, they just say, I saw it, but they don't say what it was doing, and they've always been flying. They've never seen anyone land in a tree, or I haven't heard of anyone landing in a tree or on the ground or eating or something. But it's always gliding.
Once in a while, you see not the pterosaurs, but you see like the like you said, the wading birds will land in trees. Not very often do you see it, but once in a while, like the ibises and some of the storks and stuff like that, you'll see. But I don't know. But I have seen, the herons and stuff. We have a lot of the blue herons and stuff here in Wisconsin, and they are very big. Yes. I think that if people didn't see them on a regular basis or weren't specifically looking for it, that's a big bird to fly over the road.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, when I see it, I go, that's very big, but I still don't see a pterosaur when I look at it.
Yeah.
I don't even I like to think that I'm fairly educated. I know my animals and stuff like that. Like I know that it's not a dinosaur flying across the sky, but even if I didn't know as much as I know, I wouldn't mistake that.
Right.
Know? So I don't know.
I don't know either. It could be, the environment, weather conditions, or the way the lighting is playing on it. I don't know. I'm not. They saw something.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a pterosaur, I don't know. But if that's their interpretation of it, I mean, who am I to say they're wrong? Because I wasn't there.
Absolutely. Do you think that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs, or do you have your own theory?
Actually, I think that, we have strong evidence for an asteroid. I don't think it wiped them out completely all at once. I think I'd heard that they were on the decline, anyway, and so when the asteroid came, it just kind of was the nail in the coffin. But there was some sort of worldwide catastrophe like the asteroid, but they probably the remainder probably slowly died out. The reason being, and this is my theory. Here's my own theory right there. When you look at, and the big thing is like, all right, why did they die out and like little mammals and stuff, survive? Mm-hmm. The thing is, mice, when they have babies, they have a lot of babies all at once. And then they can come back and have a lot of babies again, not in a short amount of time. So they can regenerate a population really quick. Whereas the dinosaurs, you look at big animals like elephants and stuff, they're pregnant for like 2 years, more than that. I don't know.
18 months.
Yeah, it's like a huge long time. So I think the dinosaurs being so big, the big dinosaurs, they just couldn't regenerate their populations, and they just couldn't come back from that disaster. Whereas the mammals, little reptiles having like a whole bunch of babies at once, I don't think the dinosaurs could have I think big theropods like T-Rex could only have like 2 eggs at a time. I've heard that. I could be wrong, but you're so big, and it takes such a long time to rebuild your decimated population that you just can't come back from it. That's what I thought.
I would think if being warm-blooded versus cold-blooded too, if these things, some of the dinosaurs were reptilian, and you're blocking out the sun with debris and the dust cloud and stuff, you're blocking off that heat. So a lot of these wouldn't have the temperature control to be able to survive either.
That's true. I mean,
whereas your mammals would.
Yeah, that had to change the environment drastically, and not even so much blocking out the sun. That's the old theory. Well, a dust cloud came out, blocked the sun. Plants couldn't grow. Plant eaters couldn't eat. There's nothing to eat for the theropods. But then everything else survived. But yeah, you're right. It could have drastically changed the climate, where they just, they could have burned up or frozen because they couldn't regulate their heat.
What are your thoughts on dragons and if they existed or still exist?
Yeah, they exist. There's a Komodo dragon.
It's true.
What more do you want? Dragons, though, I think we can kind of figure out that they were interpretations of dinosaur bones, especially in China. That's they're crazy with dinosaur bones over there. So many, and it's the way they interpret it. It's like, well, they had to be dragons, and they were so strange. It's like, well, it had to be the head of a camel and all this stuff like this to make the dragon. But yeah, I think dragons were our dinosaurs.
What do you think about the theory as well that there's some cave art and stuff that depicts dinosaurs and humans living together, and as far as the dragons and stuff go, could it be possible that these were just a small relic population of dinosaurs still existing? Some reptiles live for quite a long time, 100 years or more. So, but then when you look at the stories of dragons, in every story, the knight goes out and slays the dragon, right? So any population of these things that had existed up to medieval times or ancient times or whatever would have just got killed off because
they were brought to extinction by the knights. Yeah.
Well, do you think what are the odds, do you think, that dinosaurs could have survived up until the age of, medieval times?
Well, I hadn't thought about that, but I doubt it. I strongly doubt it, because it's like, we're talking like millions and millions of years. If there was a population that had survived, it's like, they would still need to be in a group. It'd have to be a group of dragons, or a pod of dragons, if you will. I mean, there'd have to be like, this dragon would have to get with this dragon to make baby dragons. It's just like the dragons seem to be so solitary in these stories.
Not wanting to get along very much. You do have like a lot more species we're finding out. Even birds, reptiles, amphibians are able to reproduce through parthenogenesis.
Yes.
So if you had a healthy population or a small group of dinosaurs that still existed, they could theoretically still have live births,
Yeah, I guess so.
For millions of years.
They were very tired.
Yes. Yep. All right. I was aware that there was pterosaurus sightings in Wisconsin. Yep, absolutely. And then the flood killed the dinosaurs. I think based on the timeline of all that stuff, I think the flood was way after the dinosaurs were already extinct. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the flood got them. All right, here we go. Do you think that we're going to clone dinosaurs? Is there any possibility of a real Jurassic Park? Is there any, with the mammoths, the thylacine, the dodo, what Colossal Bioscience is trying to do and stuff? We do have some of the DNA, at least, of these creatures, but do we have any for real dinosaurs?
If we could find real dino DNA, which they have found soft tissues, amazingly enough, in T-Rex bones. But if you could get enough to clone something, you have to think there have been 65 million years worth of viruses and germs to have evolved. So these things coming out are not going to have any immunities to what we have today. So they would have to be kept in a sterile environment, because if they take a breath outside, they're gone, because of all our advanced germs and diseases.
That's a very good point. You think that they would take that into consideration, with the whole CRISPR thing and stuff?
They would have to. I mean, if they had them, they would just you couldn't let them out unless you found a way to inoculate them, or like you said, splice in immunities or something like that. It's possible. I think it'd be cool. I love the whole dinosaur from a chicken thing. If you can go in there and manipulate the DNA, where like all the things that chickens have lost that were dinosaurian could be brought back. That would work, because then you're not dealing with germs and diseases, which would be like the aliens in the War of the Worlds. They weren't thinking. They didn't consider it. But,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I won't be cloning any, but maybe somebody else.
Your new museum display clone dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we have Rick is kind enough to offer up the latest copy here of Cryptid Sea Monsters, a field guide. It's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Today is Monday, January 12th. So if you're listening to this on the 12th of January 2026, send an email to Rick Spears art@gmail.com. Put in the subject line Cryptid Sea Monster Drawing, and you will be entered to win by midnight a copy of this awesome book by Kelly Milner Halls, illustrated by my guest today, Rick Spears. He will be choosing a random entry from those emails this evening and contacting you for some information on how you can win this awesome book of cryptid sea monsters. So again, today is January 12th. If you're in the live audience, or if you're listening to this on a podcast platform or on YouTube later on today, there's your chance. You can get yourself a copy of this awesome book, illustrated by my guest. So if they can't get that, or would like to contact you or see some of your other awesome stuff, because you have a really cool website. A lot of your the mosasaur, I was trying to pull up the mosasaur picture because I did have that downloaded.
Oh, cool.
Kind of yellowy green one that's like wrapped around, right?
Yeah.
I had him download, and I threw him in a different folder when I got all yours, and I never put him back in that folder. So he did not make it onto the show today. But where can people find more information on see some more of your work and your models and your art?
Oddly enough, it's just almost like my email. It's www.rickspearsart.com. Absolutely. And I got to say, it's something happened, and I'm not able to update the images, so they may be a little dated, but yeah, it's still got examples of everything on there.
It is a very cool website. I spent some time scrolling through that the other day and checking out all of your work and the museum displays and illustrations on your other models and stuff that you've done. So very cool stuff.
Cool. Thanks.
Absolutely. And that is in the show notes for everyone. I was going to put a link to Kelly's books on Amazon. I did not do that on the live show. I apologize. I will try and get that in there for the listeners later today. But otherwise, what was I going to say about that? Kelly Milner Halls, look that up on Amazon or wherever you get books. And Rick Spears is pretty much the illustrator for all of those books. So you can help them both out and encourage her to write more books and get them illustrated by Rick. So, awesome, man. What are your final thoughts for today? What do you want people to take away from this discussion? What do you hope that people learn about dinosaurs and museums and all of your art and cryptids?
Just that they were, well, not the same thing. Cryptids and dinosaurs, they're all real. If they exist, they are all real. They exist in this universe, or they have to follow the law of physics or everything else. So, just think of them as real animals and not like, they're mysterious, but they were real animals and they live and breathe. And if a cryptid is real, then it lives and breathes, it eats, it poops, it reproduces. So they all follow the rules of this world in biology. So, yeah, just think of them as real animals. That's all. Even dinosaurs,
Absolutely. Very cool, man. I encourage everyone to go check out museums, because I think that people don't do that enough, and learn about the past, because, if we don't learn about it, we don't repeat it, and we don't want to end up like the dinosaurs. So there you go.
Especially not mosasaurs.
Mosasaurus. There you go. Very good, sir. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, thank you. It's been awesome.
I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck on all of your new stuff. And I think the next book that you and Kelly put out, we'll have you both on, and you can talk about the pictures, she can talk about the book, and we'll have a big panel show. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
There you go. And good luck everybody on the book contest. Drawing, sorry, not a contest. Drawing.
Contest. Absolutely. Get yourself entered for Cryptid Sea Monsters book. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks, Rick. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. All right, guys, that is our show for this week. Make sure you get yourself entered to win a copy of that book. The drawing ends tonight at midnight Central Standard Time. That would be 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So as long as you're listening to this before that, on January 12th, you can send an email. As long as it is dated and post-stamped before that, you are entered. And he's going to pick one of those and contact you, and you can win yourself a copy of the Cryptid Sea Monsters, A Field Guide by Kelly Milner Halls, illustrated by my guest, Rick Spears. Hopefully, best of luck to all of you out there. And if you guys haven't got yourself a copy or any of Kelly's books, you can head on over to Amazon.com and pick yourself up any of her awesome books as well. Or if you're in Wisconsin, she will be at our Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention. You can meet her. And if you win the book or if you buy a book, you can get it autographed at the event May 9th. So there you go. Awesome. Kaiju says he just sent you an email. There you go. You got at least one entry into your drawing. So thanks, guys. Thank you guys so much for your support today and watching and tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, all things here on the Untold Radio Network. Head on over to rickspearsart.com and check out all of his work and sculptures. There's a lot of cool stuff that wasn't shown on today's show, including that Mosasaurus that we were talking about. He's pretty cool. So check that out. And until next week, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the edge.